Hey there, Nomads of Lore. I'm Sean.
And I'm Jonathan.
And together we are Mead and Mischief, your home away from no home. In this video, we are going to be giving our reaction and thoughts to episode 4 of Amazon's Wheel of Time TV show. Before we jump in, we wanted to make sure you knew where this video was going to stand as far as spoilers. This video, of course, would be rated red for the red or something as far as spoilers for the TV show up through episode 4. And as far as the books are concerned, the way we try to handle that is we try to avoid spoilers for the most part, but we are going to be talking about details in the show itself. And so we're going to spoil the minor, if at all, spoilers for the books themselves.
Okay, so general thoughts. I loved it. There was some really high moments, some question
roller
mark
coaster
moments,
Absolute
some down moments,
yeah.
some high moments, some low moments. I texted Sean as I was watching it. He was a little bit behind me, but I texted him and he was like, "Do you like it?" And I was like, "Yes." And then like 10 minutes later, I was like, "No." And then like 5 minutes later, I was like, "Yes."
And then also no.
Yeah, and then also no. So anyway, yes, I loved it. There was some things that we should definitely discuss. But
Speaking
anyway.
of discuss, our plan, this should come out on Friday, theoretically. Our plan is tomorrow, if everything goes to plan, on Saturday, the 27th, 6th, something? 27th.
Yep, 27th.
Saturday the 27th, we're going to do a live that is a very spoiler-filled that we get to have a more conversation with you guys, and we'll just deep dive discuss this episode and the previous one and where direction and all that kind of stuff. So join us then. And subscribe and like while you're here right now. Comment all of those things. But anyway, jumping in,
what did you feel? How did you like it?
So overall, especially after all of his and then no, and then whatever else, and not liking different parts or whatever else, and we've had critiques of all the episodes. I was kind of going and thinking, oh no, am I going to like this or whatever? And honestly, my gut feeling, and I'll have to ruminate on it. I just finished watching this, so did he. Right now, this is probably my favorite episode.
So it starts out right with
Logain.
With Logain, yeah, and
yes.
So Logain is.
They did not portray him like I expected. I expected them to go darker with him.
To make him super evil.
Yeah, or feel that way, and that was kind of the direction I thought that they were going to use him.
Yeah, they started a little bit. They were like, everybody was fearing him running, all this kind of stuff.
Yes.
And then he got to the guy, and he didn't kill him.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, okay, all right. And
not only did he not kill him, but he has a super awesome charisma moment with the King of Gildon.
Yeah.
Or how are they pronouncing it? Gildon. Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we started out with the very first episode seeing a guy who could channel and having a personality with him that was portrayed as just another man.
Right.
This was different, and so I don't quite know why, but it was interesting because he had a man and a woman talking to him at the same time.
Part of the taint, maybe? Part of the of Sidene? I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's kind of strange.
It was interesting, but he was holding him back. Yeah, I loved how he was like, I basically anybody has a place at my side, even my enemies. And so it was like, okay, so this is, we are going to stay kind of true to the books as far as
early, all of our character development in this show. We get a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, we really don't know that until a lot later. But anyway,
a whole lot later.
Yeah. But anyway, it was really good. I liked that. And then I'm trying to remember what happens right after that. Do we go to
the Tinkers?
The Tinkers,
Perrin and Egwene.
Yeah.
Which there was some significant departures from the book, especially with Perrin, the way he responded because of what they did with his wife and all that kind of stuff. They kind of framed all of that in a significantly different way.
If I remember correctly in the book, he's kind of very against the Tinkerers.
Yes, well, because Elias is.
And
that's a book spoiler. There's a character named Elias.
Yep.
Sorry, I ruined your whole world.
And I'm really sad that they haven't shown him, and I don't know if we're ever going to get him. But anyway, another conversation. But
right.
So it is interesting the way he is being very receptive to their thoughts of the leaf.
Well, very considering. Very Perrin, very slow and considering his options and different things.
Yeah. Egwene kind of falling for them a little bit.
I thought they were going to go more flirty with it, like it was in the book, than they did with her and Aram.
It's been very slow and light.
It's more adult, which makes sense. Like it's more
adult and more friendship, like almost.
Well, I mean, he does recognize that she's pining over somebody else or something like that, and
so then we have that scene with Thom and Rand. I think this is where
I liked a lot with the Rand kind of him intervening with the man. I was thinking, yep, there's ta'veren happening. Ta'veren is going on. Whatever else.
He's like, hey, you don't want to kill us. Calm down.
And it's just kind of this shift once he kind of got in there. It was very interesting. I liked that a lot. That was interesting. And I don't think we spent much time with them before we went back to
the camp with
Nynaeve and Egwene. So Nynaeve and Egwene, Nynaeve and Lan and Moraine and
Nynaeve and Lan. Okay, so how do you feel about how fast they're pushing this?
Well, I like it a lot actually, because in the books it's almost intimated that it was going that fast, like their feelings were growing that fast anyway. But we saw none of it because, in my humble opinion, Robert Jordan can't write relationships to save his life. At least
shots
a lot of them.
Fired.
I mean, some of them are better than others, at least more interesting or comical or something. But this one, I feel like it's subtle fast. Like we're seeing a lot of the things that we kind of assumed probably happen. I liked it a lot. I'm liking the way they're handling that a whole lot. What about you? What'd you?
Yeah, no, I enjoy it too. I think that Nynaeve. I think it's a little quick for Nynaeve's character, in my opinion. That how. I don't know, and I may be wrong. I just feel like she is so skeptical of things.
Well, she's in love with him pretty quickly.
Pretty hardcore. Yeah. No, I know.
In the books even. But.
I know. But it just, the way they've been portraying her, I feel like it's a little quick. Especially, I think the thing that's so quick for me was the very end. And we don't have to go there yet because whatever. But...
The very end. I don't even,
what you're even talking about. I'm just talking about the way she freaked out and saved him.
Oh,
it seemed the emotional break of that
that's actually one that we can we can get there in a minute.
No, I mean obviously they needed some way to do it.
That's actually one of my potential critiques of this episode. Actually, is that whole bit. But yeah, so one critique I have in this episode, I felt it more than some others, is the amount, when it's not an action scene, it's pretty much all exposition and world building. It's like, if it's not an action scene, it's somebody sitting there telling you something about the Wheel of Time world, and just verbosely. Which bugs me less than I think it probably does other people. I know some people don't really like heavy-handed exposition, even in books. So it bugs me less, but it felt like we're just getting these huge exposition dumps that are just kind of, this is a thing that is happening and whatever else. And I know there's a whole lot of world building that they're trying to shove in to a small amount of time. So again, it really doesn't bother me a ton. It's almost more nitpicky from my perspective, but if it bugs you, I could see that, or you, but I could
see
people,
why. We could see why.
I could definitely have some solidarity with you there. So that's a thing. So we get some stuff. We get some look at warders. We get some look at some other Aes Sedai. What we get? We get to see Alana a little bit, which was kind of fun and kind of interesting. What do you think about some of the other Aes Sedai and some of the warders? Stepping and such.
The warders, the Aes Sedai, their relationships really interesting. It's interesting to actually see, and that there is some romantic relationships and some totally not.
That was but somewhat.
It's cool, and I like that Nynaeve kind of was, because there was a point where two warders went with one of the Aes Sedai, and Nynaeve is like, are they going to do what I think they're going to do? And the guy's like,
he just kind of starts drinking,
kind of smirks, and then Lan's like, I think I'm going to go to bed too. And she's like, you could tell she was hurt, and like, wait, does that mean that him and Moraine do stuff?
I really know. So I will say that I really, really liked that scene with Moraine and Lan in the tent there. I felt like that scene way better than the in my opinion slightly awkward bath scene from episode 1. I thought that one hit really strongly. This friendship, this whatever else.
I loved his comment about I need to remember not to drink because it makes you all emotional.
Oh yes, I did.
It was pretty funny.
Which was
very
it was.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, no, I loved that. And the one thing that was a little weird to me was when they were shielding Logain, took 2 of them. Okay, makes sense.
More of them
instead of a bunch of them, which that was a little. But okay, anyway, took 2 of them, and then but he was constantly fighting, which my understanding of a shield was basically, I mean, even. Well, I don't want to spoil anything. There's shielding later on in the books that is of a much more powerful person than Logain, and he doesn't really. He does kind of look for ways to get out of the shield, but it's not like a constant struggle where he can struggle against it because it's they.
Well,
Robert Jordan's very verbose about it.
Yeah, so I mean, this may be just me filtering it through my book reading lens. But I interpreted it as, instead of a overall pushing, I interpreted it as him just constantly probing spots.
And looking for spots.
But that may be more just me looking at it through my book reading lens. But that's the way I interpreted it. But very powerfully doing that.
But words are important.
Words are important. Well, they are.
I'm just saying. Anyway, that bugged me a little bit. Just that verbology. He's sitting there. He's tied off. There's lots of conversation that goes on around him. I did like the way that they used the air weave to quiet him, because that was used pretty early on in the book. Or not quiet him, but
keep him from hearing
what was going on.
Was
interesting.
Yep.
And then of course I did also like, even though it was a very hard push for Leandrin, that they were shoving that that she's an antagonist almost a little too hard. But there was a lot of politics that she was playing.
There were quite a few pieces of politics that I liked, even between the green and the blue. Alana clearly is more friendly with people, whatever else. But how did they pronounce it? Kareen is how I would pronounce it, but they pronounced it something else.
Yeah.
Karini or something, Karine, or I don't know, whatever. Yeah. But the leader of the Green Aja, or at least in that space, we get these interesting politics, and that Moraine is kind of outside of the general chain of command, and I like that. I also like the quote, and I am excited to see what they do with it. I mean, I liked when Stepan says that the Amerlin is not very happy with Moraine. I like that, and book reader subtle chuckle there, but I like that detail a lot. Yeah. So we in the middle of all of this, we're kind of staying in that camp. We should, since it happens in kind of in the middle and is a breakaway. We get some interesting things happening with Matt and with Thom and with Rand. There's a few things that happened. One of them is the critique that's the most irritating to me, but is definitely nitpicky at this point. Was I still really don't like the dream sequences. The dream sequence with Rand, I didn't like at all. Really, it was strange, and it was kind of nightmare-esque and kind of whatever. And at the last part, where the glowing man shows up, and he, I don't know who does he grab? Is it Matt or Egwene? It's Egwene, isn't it?
Egwene, yeah.
And he kind of like grabs her, and he kind of cocks his head like I got her, man. I laughed out loud, which is definitely not what they were going for. But
I'm sure
that is ridiculously stupid.
Yeah, after so I'm in the middle of book 12, and there's the scene that we're trying so hard not to spoil who that person is in the dreams, and there's an actual scene where finally Rand sits down with him in front of I'm way spoiler if I keep going, but anyway, sits in front of a fireplace. Anyway, it made me think of these scenes and like how terribly they're being done,
Yeah.
because they're just trying to scare you instead of world build like I feel like they should be doing. But anyway, so I agree with you there. But yes, so then we have this little correspondence between Thom and Rand talking about Matt and how he's scared that something's going on with him.
Scared
obviously
that he's a channeler.
And he tells the story that we know from the books, which is great. I love that they kept that in. He's scared that he's a channeler and that he's keeping it to himself or whatever.
Right.
And then Matt has a little run-in with the little girl. He pukes some nastiness up, and then his face kind of looks
basically
all like,
gets the
he looks like
he
a
sees
zombie.
his sister.
I'm just saying for a second. And
yeah.
And then he turns around.
Things are happening there.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to spoil too much. We may briefly go into a little bit of spoiler territory because there's a couple things we want that I'm sure we're going to want to talk about. Yeah. If we do that, we'll give you some timestamps of some more heavy spoilers.
Yep.
But
so the little girl, hands him a doll, and it makes him think of his sister's back home, and she asks, "Oh, are they with your parents?" And he's like, "Oh, damn it." I mean, really, that's what he's thinking. He's like, yeah, you're right, and they're really not safe. Anyway, it was. I thought that was a very. I'm so upset that he's not going to be in next season because he's doing such a phenomenal job.
He
with Matt.
really is.
But anyway, so and then fast forward to the next scene. Is that what you're wanting to talk about? The next scene with them, is when it kind of goes back to Rand and Thom.
Yeah.
And they hear something, and they run inside the room, and the whole family's dead. Mm-hmm. Matt's standing there with the dagger, and then he points up, is like, "I see you," and there's
a fade there.
A fade. First of all, there's either the implication that he killed the family.
Yep.
Or there's the implication that the Fade killed the family, and he just walked in on it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. If so, I would be more okay with Matt being the one who killed the family. And let me hold that thought.
Okay.
Than the Fade, because I feel like if the Fade
Matt murderer, you heard it here.
Yeah. Well, because if the Fade did it, I don't know why he did it. They're not like Trollocs where they're just going to go mass murder people as they're running through because they're dumb. So I don't think that's what they did, and I hope it's not, because I think it would be a mistake of the show. Now, if it is Matt, I
still don't like it.
I'm okay with it, but I am saddened by it because I think that some of the things that we talked about with Pod and Fane are either not going to be fulfilled, or they're going to be drastically changed, which I think we've already seen that they are drastically changed.
Like, you think that?
I think that the dagger is. I think that because there was a lot of. Oh. Okay, maybe not.
No, I think that there's still a lot of possibility there.
Yeah.
I don't know whether
because there's nothing in the books where he kills people, right?
Who?
Matt.
No. So they are clearly
that's
the implication, whether it's the Fade or whether it's Matt or whatever. Mm-hmm. There's a couple of different possibilities. Either the Fade did it and Matt is where if the Fade did it, what I think the Fade was probably trying to silence all those people so he could go and capture the boys, is my theory there. If it was the Fade, if that was what happened. And this is something we may never know, actually. It wouldn't shock me if they don't answer this, leave this ambiguous. They are, this episode, like the first three all together, is continuing to push who's the Dragon Reborn. And we got a very clear hint that, well, maybe it's Matt in this episode, right? With this with the Thom thing, and then he might be the Dragon Reborn. He's going nutso. He can channel. He can, and we don't know any of that. We don't know any of that's true right now, right? Mm-hmm. All right, they're keeping a lot of that fairly ambiguous, but they are. But as far as the effect from Shadar and the dagger and Mordeth, if they choose to use Mordeth or not, I like the change of making him violent and making him doing it that way instead of basically being sick and grumpy, because that's how he plays in the book. I think this is to me is a much stronger look at Shadar Logoth and that evil there, which I like a lot because, in my opinion, I know that you at least sort of disagree with this. That in my opinion, I don't think they ever really fulfilled on Shadar Logoth in the books. For me, it was much more of an interesting place, an interesting backstory, but it never really fulfilled what I would have liked to have seen. This, to me, helps with that and has this evil thing. So I'm actually, I didn't enjoy that scene. It was not fun at all. But I really liked that change because of that, because it makes that the evil of the dagger. I mean, because before it was just the stakes were Matt's gonna die was before. That was the stakes, right? And and whatever else. Now the stakes are Matt's gonna die or he's gonna kill everybody in the world and whatever else. And so I don't know what they're gonna do with it long term. But I like it. I mean, I didn't enjoy that scene. It was horrifically awful. It was really awful. I mean, you could see it coming. Like, I knew as soon as they woke up and where's Matt?
And Matt's going to have nightmares about it because of hurting the girl, for sure.
Yes.
Yes. Which is super sad. But
yeah,
I do agree with you. Actually, I had never thought about it from that perspective of it kind of being the reason or a different visualization of the evil of Shadar Logoth. The one critique I still have is I feel like we always default to the let's give a guy who's insane the zombie face and give him a knife.
Oh, some of the typical
instead of like being a little more original about it. But that's just my one little critique.
I hear that. Yeah.
But no, I could definitely see that, and I think I was also sad that Thom exited so quickly. And I won't go into that.
I like that way of doing that. Yeah, I think it fits with our accelerated pace. I mean, I'm sad to see him go because I'm liking the character, but
I feel like it was very quick for. Obviously, they could change how they do things, but we need to do another spoiler thing right here because I want to talk about this.
A little more major spoilers here until 24 minutes and 40 seconds.
Because we know that he comes back. Right. We know he comes back, and so it's not that big of a deal that he's barely there and then he's gone, and now he's gone for a while. Coming from the perspective of a new viewer, in my opinion, putting him in that quick and not really giving you the chance to fall in love with that character as much as I did when I first read the book.
Right.
I feel like that's
there was less stake. Like
there's less at stake. Exactly. It was like
you didn't feel.
It's just Matt. It's just Thom.
It's just this guy who we've already seen kill a lady.
He saved their life, and so maybe he's not.
No, that's good.
Maybe he's not dead. And I don't feel like they played the fade up quite enough. Like.
He did move lightning fast. I caught that.
Did.
That was cool.
He did.
That was really.
I just felt like
seen a fade.
I felt
fight.
like the way. I felt like the way he did it in the book, in the middle of the street. Yes. That nobody had ever gone against a fade. They didn't even get to see him go against the fade. They just heard the craziness and the scream.
Right.
And so it was like, oh, he's dead. Like, he has to be dead. But this was more like there's less at stake, and he fought him for a second before the door closed. So you got to see that, oh, he can fight him. So he has a possibility of living.
Well, he
sort
of. I mean, he didn't do much, but yeah. Sure.
I mean, he blocked a couple of shots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like this guy's
he
so
blocked
quick.
The lightning fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Exactly.
And so anyway, weakness there for me, and I think it's just for first time viewers. I know we all know that he's coming back, and so I don't think it's as big of a deal. But for first time viewers, I feel like we didn't get enough, and maybe they're completely changing the story and they bring him back faster. Who knows? But.
They could. They could. Yeah.
We will definitely see.
I don't know what they're going to do
because
with that.
I think they are going to because I don't know because of the whole him not liking the White Tower thing. I think there's going to be more of that, or I think they should play more of that because they made such a big deal to share this story.
Oh yeah.
Of why he doesn't like them.
Yeah. Why he doesn't like the White Tower. Why he does like the boys and
yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. So the Logain escapes. I think this is kind of mild spoilery, but they're telegraphing it so much that I think Leandrin slipped on purpose. I know she utilized the distraction of the whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I think that was very clear.
Oh, yeah.
She
was like, she even said what she was going to do.
And it looks like
I think if we let him escape,
exactly,
we could. And then 2 minutes later,
I thought they took way longer. This is kind of a weird nitpicky thing. I don't even know that I dislike it, but I thought they took way longer to move the shot from Kareen's, what we're going to call her, because it sounds right to me, to Steppen, her warder. I thought they were going to transition that much quicker. I knew they were going to transition it to we see him feeling her death.
Yeah, it was.
I was surprised that took so long for that shot to change. I loved a lot loved Moraine coming in and talking to Logain. That scene was bad to the bone.
Why should I believe that you're the Dragon Reborn? And
yeah, it was so perfect, Moraine.
Yeah.
I mean, she was confident, she was regal, she was wanting to find the truth, you know, and
she could, and that's what I did like. She was okay, unlike some Aes Sedai in the books. She was okay with being wrong because she very firmly believes it's one of these other three, whatever. But
clearly she's leaning towards one of them. We got little Nate, which it was who we knew that they were going to lean toward because obvious.
Yeah.
But.
Anyway, but no, I enjoyed that a lot. I did enjoy that conversation. That was interesting.
I just really liked the moment of her walking in the corner, honestly.
The whole, warder coming in, her warder coming in, Kareen's warder coming in afterwards and putting the axes in to his shield and the taint coming out of the shield was a beautiful way of it doesn't. I don't think anything like that ever happened, obviously, because you can't physically see.
It was kind of strange, actually.
It was, but I think it visualized the idea of the shield being cracked and him being able to get out. And I thought that was...
His axes have cracked. I don't know. I thought that was a little odd, but I mean, it was interesting.
Yeah, well, and I mean, they're doing some weird things, obviously, with the one power in metal because of the whole prison
Is this
thing.
Mistborn? No.
Yeah. Oh, that's where that came from. Thank you, Brandon Sanderson. He was like, I'm going to throw a little bit of this in here. Allomancy. Logain, you heard it here first. Anyway. Yeah. So
it was
I thought it was
visualization of cracks and I agree.
And it kind of blew apart, and then all the shards hit everybody. I thought that was very interesting.
So what did you think of Nynaeve's significant use of the one power / saving land and all the other things?
Step back, and you've got the quote from Moraine saying that it's going to be as big as the sun or whatever she says to Logain. Basically, that his power compared to the actual dragon is a drop in the bucket. And then, of course, we see Nynaeve, which I guess we're going to super spoilery detail again. I loved that. I think it's very confusion ridden for everyone because it's like, oh wait, is she the Dragon Reborn?
Yeah, that's exactly what
it's exactly what it's intended for. Yes. But it gives a huge nod to the fact that Nynaeve is one of the most powerful.
Yes,
in the books,
stated early on too. Yeah,
exactly,
absolutely.
And it's beautifully done because it's just like now the way that she went about presenting her power and everything is also beautifully done. I don't think that the show showed enough of her braid tugging and internal.
Yeah. Well, she was clear.
angst.
She was like you could see her face clearly, and that the amazing acting there, transition to anger. Yeah, I mean, I felt like that was very clearly.
So in the books, the way, and this is again spoiler filled.
A little bit bigger spoilers here until 30 minutes, 15 seconds.
In the books, the way that she can get to the power for the first long while is just by being angry. That's the only way she can get access to the power. And so obviously that's what happened there. And I loved that. But and I'm sure they'll go back and kind of explain this and have other instances where she tries to use the power and she can't, and then they find out, I guess. But anyway, I thought it was beautifully done. I didn't quite understand. I still don't understand why we're seeing weaves sometimes, why we're not seeing weaves, and why Logain
I think it's
was able to see her weave. Or men able? I can't remember the way it is. Men can see women's weaves, but not the other way around.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay. So that makes sense. But anyway, yeah. That's how I felt. About it.
I didn't.
It was awesome. But
I clearly didn't like it as much as you did. I felt like it was a huge show of power early on for her. I mean, it is a very visual. Like, I agree with the fact that it does let the audience, especially non-book readers, know that she is super duper powerful. I've said before in other reviews, I think we're almost doing too much too quickly with the power. We're seeing too much, especially with her. Now, I did like that it was, this was very just one power, and it was not very. It was very
not
wilder.
Yes.
It was,
Yes.
it was very,
Yep.
just not controlled
just a
and
bunch of
healed
stuff
everybody, and and just a bunch of stuff. Yeah, exactly. Just a bunch of stuff happened. So I liked that. I was really surprised right after that we did end up gentling Logain. I thought they were going to hang on to him being able to channel longer in the show.
I knew that was coming because of Leandra and because of him breaking free. I either thought he was going to get away or they were going to gentle him immediately.
Well, I thought they were going to get away, and he was going to be more of a threat for a while longer.
For the end of the
But
season.
it makes sense with, I don't know about the end of the season, but I expected it to be amped up more with that, the male channelerness. But it was fairly obvious that it's based on the way they played him at the beginning of the episode and all that kind of stuff. It's obvious at this point. And it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with him. I'm kind of really excited about what they do. Showing him and showing the post gentling. I was really hoping when they were gentle, I actually paused it and rewound the thing as I was watching it. I was really hoping that there was going to be 13 sisters there, but there were not. I feel like that was a huge missed opportunity, Easter egg moment. But that's fine.
I did think it was strange that as they were gentling him, it looked like they were pulling the taint out of him.
I think it was just pulling the power out of him.
I know, but anyway,
what I thought.
Yeah, it just looked kind of weird because it was like.
It was a different sort of visualization,
Yeah. No, I'm glad to hear you're actually enjoying Logain because before we watched the show, Sean was saying that he was not sure he was going to enjoy them focusing on him.
So far, they've done a really good job.
Yeah,
super. They've done less with him pre-gentling than I thought they were going to do. And like in this episode, everything with Logain I thought was really good. It was very surprising. Like I was very surprised most of the time that he was on the screen because I didn't expect them to go some of the directions I expected them to make certain changes that they didn't make. And I so far I'm really liking it. It's really good. That's I think about the end of the episode, right? There was I forgot to mention when you said something about a quote. One of my favorite quotes in the show so far right now is Thom when he's talking to I think Rand and he's talking to Rand is asking. So I thought you hated the tower or hated the Aes Sedai or whatever else or something like or I don't even remember what it was. But Tom's and I can't get it word for word. I'll get it in a later video or something else I'm sure. But after going back and rewatching it or writing it down or whatever. But he says that we call ourselves Gleeman because it's less scary and whatever and that there's nothing more dangerous than somebody who knows the past. Which I thought, that's an awesome quote. I love that quote a lot. So, that
is not in the books and it's really cool
I don't think that's in the books ever.
That I remember.
So much books.
Well, we hope you guys enjoyed episode 4 as much as we did. And if you got any thoughts, any questions, whatever, link in the description or put stuff down in the comments.
Write words down below.
Also, thank you for everything you've done. We're getting good on the subscribers.
Yes.
Also, coming soon, we have a. I think I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody. We have a Discord channel that we are working on setting up so that we can have a little bit more interaction with you guys. We can build the community that we want to build with y'all. We can have conversations and whatever.
We're excited about it.
Yeah, we're super excited about it. Hopefully y'all can come and join it. Once we do release it, we'll put it in a couple videos, even probably have one showing how to get into it and all that kind of stuff.
We're going to have a huge chunk of it cost-free, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
This is
definitely.
We're about to start charging you money.
No. Definitely. So
hopefully eventually we can try. No.
Awesome. Well, you guys have a wonderful day. I was about to say evening.
You
Wonderful
can have
day.
all the times.
Evening,
you can have a great
morning.
one.
Do it all. Later.
See you later.